it's me, GV, and welcome to this week's Sub Saturdays, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about my 5 favorite games of all time, and then I'm going to be talking about the 24-hour stream that's going to be up this February 2nd. Not this Saturday, not today, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. By the way, if I look a little thinner and less bloated, for those that don't know, since the start of the new year on January 1st, I've only been eating 1,600 calories. I've been talking about this everywhere, so I'm not going to go too in depth, but just so you know, I'm currently down about 6 pounds, so hopefully we'll keep that going. And the major difference, if you go look at previous Sub Saturdays before the new year, you'll see that I'm just crazy bloated. So for those of you losing weight, if you want to just look better real easily, just eat better, and like within a week or 2 weeks, you will just look so much thinner in the face and everywhere else. I've known this for a very long time. When I was at my thinnest, I would have these cheat days once a week, and that day I would look like, I don't know, like 10 pounds fatter, but then the rest of the week I would look really, really thin. So just a little tip. I've also changed the Twitch schedule thanks to your feedback with those polls. I now stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday is a new day. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I stream from 5 to 9 p.m. Mountain Time. We shifted it an hour earlier. And then on Saturday, I stream from 3 to 7. So if you're in those weird time zones, hopefully you'll be able to catch at least part of the stream now. The idea was to have 2 different times when I stream, and now on Saturday we do kind of an early stream. So check them out if you haven't. The links are in the description below. So let's get into it. I'm gonna go from 5th down to 1st because I don't know why in top X lists they always start with like best. It's more interesting to start with like the worst and then go down to the best. My 5th most favorite game ever is gonna be Pokemon Silver version. This was actually just trumped Final Fantasy IX. I think I like Pokemon Silver just a little bit more because I have more nostalgia for it, but I love Final Fantasy IX as well. Pokemon Silver, you know, if you've played it as a kid, you know exactly what to expect. It's a Pokemon game. It was the 2nd generation. The only reason I love it so much is because Pokemon rocked my world when it first came out, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and I was so hyped. I mean, it has to be literally the top like 3 times I was hyped for a game. I know that Super Mario Sunshine was another time, and I just begged my mom for I don't know how long to get me Pokemon Silver. And there's just a story where we drove up to North Carolina from Florida when I was a little tiny baby boy, and I just begged her the entire way. And we were meeting some friends that lived in North Carolina. They had a son who I was friends with, and he did the same. He begged his mom for the same game. Some of you may have heard this story. And lo and behold, Christmas Day comes. We're doing kind of like a combined family sort of Christmas thing. And I wake up, I open my presents, I get Pokemon Silver. I am over the moon. I'm over the moon excited. His mom got him Pokemon Pinball, and he the whole day was raising a stink and crying about it. And I feel for him because I wanted that game more than anything. And at the time, it was my favorite game, no doubt. Pokemon Silver was amazing. I won't spoil why, just in case anybody wants to go back and play it, or the kind of remastered Heart Silver, or whatever it's, Soul Silver, I think, which I have played as well. But there is something that happens near the end of the game, and like parts of the game open up to something that I didn't expect at all. And when that happened as a kid, my mind was blown because it was not like that in the 1st generation. And I was just like, is this for real? It felt like 2 games in 1. So I absolutely love Pokemon Silver, and we might be playing it on the 24-hour stream. I'll have to see. Number 4 is the original Dark Souls, which actually might even overtake it's just because it's newer that I have a hard time having it overtake the 2 and 3 spot, because I love this game. It's the game that we're literally, you know, let's playing right now is the main marquee let's play on this channel. And you know, I've gone over why I love it so much in those videos for the let's play. It's just the first time I played it, I got filled with so much rage, so much hatred, and I almost rage quit at the Iron Boar, but I stuck with it, and it since has become one of the most unique, if not literally the most unique gaming experiences I've ever experienced. I mean, there is no other game series like the Souls series. There's just not. It's so incredibly unique and so fun, and I honestly think everybody should try it at least once. Yeah, a lot of people will probably just rage quit and never want to touch it again, but I think you should just experience it because there's no other gaming experience like the Souls series. Number 3, and this one kind of can be interchanged with number 2. It just kind of it depends on what I'm playing at the moment or how, what my mood is. But number 3 is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. A ton of people always ask for me to play Zelda games, and I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I love Zelda games. I love, the first one, kind of. I don't really like it too much because there's no direction, and I know that's the point of it, but I was big on the N64 Zeldas. Ocarina of Time, you got Majora's Mask, Super Smash Bros., which has Link, and then Melee, which has Link as well, Twilight Princess, and just a lot of the offshoots and stuff. I'm a big fan of Zelda, and I would love to play it. The problem is that it's so hard to play it. I have a Nintendo 64 back there, I have the Nintendo consoles, but I just don't have a way to record it right now, and plus with Nintendo's copyright stuff, and they're now allowing people to actually make content on their games. But anyways, we're here to talk about Majora's Mask. This was I did play Ocarina first when it came out, but for whatever reason I didn't like it, or I didn't get into it too much until I got into Majora's Mask. The whole mask system and how there's so many different masks and they all do different things really drew me in as a kid. Plus the art style was a little bit more cartoonish and vibrant and weird, and I really dug that. This game is so good. So many people hold Ocarina over it, and Ocarina is really good, of course, but I think they're either equal or Majora's might even be better, and I have 100%ed both of them a various amount of times. And Majora's Mask, I don't know, it's just the whole mask system, having so many different masks that all do, different things and interesting things, and you have to unlock them in different ways, is just so much fun for me, and I love that, especially as a completionist. So Majora's is 3, but it could be 2 sometimes as well. At the number 2 slot, we have BanjoTooie. This game was gotten for me by my dad, who I don't think realized that this was a sequel to Banjo-Kazooie, which I had rented from Blockbuster as a kid, and I really liked it. But BanjoTooie is the one that got to me, and I know that a lot of people like Banjo-Kazooie over it, but in my opinion, BanjoTooie is just better on almost every level. I know that it's way bigger, it has way more moves, it's more complex. Some people are going to say that it's more complex, which doesn't necessarily make it better, but I disagree. There's so much more variance in worlds. Banjo-Kazooie is an amazing game, and I've 100%ed both of them. It's where it started, and it kept it simple, but BanjoTooie just expanded on almost every level, and this is a game that I can always go back to, and another one that we might be playing on the 24-hour stream. I love the characters of Banjo-Kazooie. I love Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I know everybody hates that game, but I love that game too. I know it's not a Banjo game, but it is so unique and interesting and fun to play, and I have a huge heart for the Banjo games. All the love that you might hear about it over on the internet is 100% warranted. It is one of the best video games of all time, in my opinion, and Banjo-Tooie is the best one, I think. And last but not least, we have, of course, the number 1 for me personally, which a lot of people already know, but if you didn't, it's Chrono Trigger for the SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Chrono Trigger is my favorite game of all time. This is a game that I've played and beaten and 100%ed many times. I've 100%ed other games more, but that's because this is a very long RPG, so it's a little hard to, do a playthrough and 100% it over and over and over again, as opposed to something like Banjo-Tooie, which you can complete way quicker. But the genesis of my love for this game was my dad had an SNES, and he had this game, which is very weird because he doesn't know much about RPGs, I don't think. He was much more of like a sports video game player, and we played a lot of Madden together. But he had this game Chrono Trigger, and I was but a wee little child, and I said, Dad, I want to play that game. He said, oh son, you need to actually know how to read to be able to play this, because it's an RPG and there's obviously lots and lots of text, and I was too young to even be able to like read that well at the time. And then years later, eventually he gave me the SNES and all of his games, and I finally played Chrono Trigger because just based on the box art I was so interested in what the heck this thing was. And then yeah, the rest is history. I played it over and over and over over and over again. I love Akira Toriyama's art style, and I was watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid, so it was like 1-to-1. I don't even know if I ever realized it. And there's so many different endings, so many ways to play the game, and it is considered one of the best JRPGs of all time, if not the best. And I agree, out of all the ones that I've played, I think it is definitely up there, if not the best. It's really old, so it's going to be lost on a lot of people. Turn-based combat, it's not going to be for everybody, but it is my favorite game of all time, and those are my top 5 favorite games of all time. This is the part where I try to get comment interaction by telling you guys to leave your top 5 favorite below. But do if you want to, because I'd actually be interested to see what you guys think. There's so many that would fit on my top 10 or my top 20. Dark Souls 3, Age of Empires 2, Age of Kings, Halo, a lot of Halo stuff. I don't know, there's like 8 million franchises that I could fit into this some way, but this is my top 5. The last thing I wanted to end this Sub-Saturdays with was that the Housewarming 24-hour stream is set on February 2nd, Saturday in February, obviously, not this Saturday, today, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. I usually like to give people a week's notice in advance in case they want to take off and join the whole stream or whatever you want to do, but it is going to be that Saturday. I have an entire notepad over 3 pages long in the notepad going over everything that I'm going to be doing. Tons of different games, tons of different events, tons of different prizes and giveaways, tons of caps rewards. When you watch my streams, you get caps automatically. You can turn them in for rewards and prizes. It's gonna be a really good time. You're gonna get double the caps when you watch the stream, so yeah, definitely come out. It's gonna be live for 24 hours, so regardless of where you live, you will be able to catch it if you're not busy, of course. And obviously, it's a little bit off here. We have a little bit of time, and I will remind you next week on next week's Sub-Saturdays. But it's a good time to click over to my Twitch and give it a follow if you haven't yet, to get prepared for it. I'm mega excited, and I'm gonna try my best to make this one either the best it can possibly be, or at the very least as good as the first 2, which in my opinion were the best. We've either done 3 or 4, I think we've done 3. And the first one was by far the best, so I'm going to try to make it as good or better as that one. Thank you so much for watching this week's Sub-Saturdays, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you on the Dark Souls playthrough. I hope to see you on the Fallout 2 playthrough. And if you want to support me, please leave a like and consider becoming a patron over on Patreon. Just for $1, and you get access to the Discord, which is bumping. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.